G'day everybody, Liamo All-Star here. And today, I get to be God. You know why? Because I get to decide who lives, who dies. And the moral machine is gonna present to me different scenarios on just exactly what course of action I should take, just exactly who should I allow to live or die. But in the meantime, there's a little bit of an introductory video here which I'll play for everyone right now.
Welcome to the Moral Machine, a platform for gathering a human perspective on moral decisions made by machine intelligence, such as self-driving cars. We show you moral dilemmas, where a driverless car must choose the lesser of two evils, such as killing 2 passengers or 5 pedestrians. As an outside observer, you judge which outcome you think is more acceptable. You can then see how your responses compare with other people. If you're feeling creative, you can also design your own scenarios for you and others to view, share and discuss. Moral Machine is a project by the Scalable Cooperation Group at the MIT Media Lab. Help us learn how to make machines moral.
So, in other words, it's basically done on the principle of the driverless cars, where they've effectively got to be programmed, with a set of rules, guidelines, just basically a routine where, let's say, the best example you could say is if someone comes across the roads, all of a sudden, what's the first thing you would do? Of course, you would come to a full and complete stop, hit the brakes. In another scenario, if the brakes fail, that you would swerve around if at all possible. These scenarios, these situations pose very unusual and unique scenarios of which you have to basically show just exactly how evil you are. The lesser of two evils. Who lives, who dies in all these scenarios. And you've got to apply your best set of morals and ethics to the scenario. And I guess that's the best possible person to do it is me. Because, as we all know, there's no one better to provide logic, and no one better to allow logic to prevail than none other than myself. So the instructions are here as well. Basically, you judge, you're presented moral dilemmas. You're on the outside watching it from above, so you're essentially God. And then at the end, once you finish judging the different scenarios from a random selection, you'll be judged by them and see just exactly how moral you are, whether you prefer a man, woman, dog, cat, the elderly or the young, the wealthy or the, basically the poor, these sort of situations. You can also design your own and browse as well. But in the meantime, right now, I'm going to go and start playing God. Present to me the first. So, in this scenario, it's either I kill a male executive in this case, whose brake failure will result in his death. Whereas in this situation, one female executive who is already completing a crossing has done nothing wrong. Well, that's why you look both ways before you cross the road and never assume that a vehicle is going to stop, even a driverless car. So I guess, unfortunately, a man must die. Now let's see here. Now this is an interesting one. You've got the male executive who is flouting the rules of the law, but then again, he could be trying to get away from that criminal, because he could be chasing after him with an empty duffel bag, trying to go for whatever's in his briefcase, whereas in this case, the criminal is abiding by the green signal. But hey, why should we punish the person who's trying to get away from the criminal, especially if the car has identified him as a criminal? Huh? Think about that. Now, in this situation, we've got 2 women or 2 elderly women. I mean, technically the 2 young women are breaking the law, rules. In the other case, could be cynical and say, well, they're elderly, so they should die, but they've almost completed their crossing anyway. But I guess perhaps I should give them a break and teach them a lesson that they will never forget for the rest of their lives. Never cross even when it is safe to do so, or 2 elderly women might die. Now here's one. 1 male athlete, 1 dog, 1 criminal, 1 homeless person, and 1 pregnant woman will die for obeying the rules, as opposed to a male athlete who just chose to jaywalk. Well, Mr. Male Athlete, for all your success, the one lesson that you never learned in your life is to look both ways before crossing and obey the rules. If you don't obey the rules, you die! So, 1 homeless person, 1 criminal, 2 women and 1 man. Versus 1 woman, 1 female doctor, 2 pregnant women and 1 male executive. Now, they're in the car. And they're headed to doom. But we've identified a criminal. What do? I mean, technically in this scenario, we've got 1 woman, 1 female doctor, 2 pregnant women, so technically that's 6 people, 7 people, technically, versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of them's a criminal. The criminals must be exterminated. So, now we are dealing with either 1 large man or 1 large woman. And then God said, the affected pedestrian is flouting the crossing, so who dies next? The large woman. A lot of elderly people in this one. 1 man, 1 elderly woman, 2 elderly men. I don't know what they're getting up to. And 1 man, 1 elderly woman, 2 elderly men. Identical scenario. But in this case, we're going to decide how much collateral damage we want to cause. See, the thing about it is, if they cross over and cut across, damage to bollards, then it could be a scenario where people could be driving past and cause an accident of their own because maybe they're not driving the driverless cars. You know, the people that drive by, look at the accident and cause an accident themselves. You know, maybe one of the wheels will fall off and kill one of those pedestrians anyway who are jaywalking, perhaps. Oh, well, they look left, right, and left again. No, don't cross if there's cars coming. Even if there's cars coming, you've got to wait till that car comes to a full and complete stop before you cross. But not only that, if we program these cars with artificial intelligence, what's to say that the cars themselves won't go, oh, look, there's an accident, and then veer off a cliff or a bridge or something? We cannot have that in our society. Plus, not to mention, if it breaks across and, you know, goes across the other side of the road, there could be more collateral damage on the other sides. You know? Not to mention the cleanup, the obstruction of traffic. It caused the person at the end of that traffic line to finally snap and kill his boss or kick his cat. I don't know. Well, look at that. 1 cat or 1 man. I'm afraid that the guy did nothing wrong. And that cat... You silly cat. You can't drive. Meow. Who lives, who dies? 1 cat, 1 female executive, 1 elderly man, 1 dog, and 1 male athlete. Versus 1 large man, 1 female athlete, 1 elderly dog. No, not an elderly dog, rather. 1 elderly woman. Hey, whoops. Oh dear, but they're all flouting the pedestrian crossing, and because I think she just overheard me call her a elderly dog, I think she needs to be taken out so that she doesn't go, excuse me, did you just call me an elderly dog? Oh, you're not alive now, so you can't judge me. 3 women abiding by the rules, or 3 female athletes who aren't? You must obey the laws, or you will be punished. Okay, heading to the last couple now. So, one dog and one cat flouting the rules, 2 people obeying the rules. I believe that we should treat all animals and creatures on this planet as equals. You know, perhaps the term pet is rather redundant, or perhaps becoming redundant in today's modern day society. I truly do regard, especially, because I've got 2 dogs myself, I regard them as equals in our household, But the fact of the matter is that, in saying that, if you're an animal, human, whatever you happen to be, you don't disobey the law. Because all sweet, swift justice is unbiased. You should have looked left, right, and left again before you crossed. Animal or not, you must suffer the consequences of your dire actions of flouting the crossing! So, look at this. 1 girl, 2 large men, 1 female executive, and 1 man who are flouting the rules versus 1 girl, 1 large man, 1 female executive. So how many people do we want to kill today? The fewer or the lesser? So, 1 girl in each scenario, 2 large men in one, whereas 1 large man in the other, 1 female executive in both, and 1 man. But then at the same time, it's veering over to the wrong side of the road. I think in this scenario, they need to all be taught a lesson that they will never forget for the rest of their lives. Do not jaywalk or you will cause death and destruction! Well, look at that. 1 large man disobeying the rules, 1 male athlete. Well, to be fair, what I said before about if a car veers across and it could go across the bollard, cause collateral damage, I think the fat man might actually stop that vehicle in its tracks, especially if it has brake failure. Kind of try and, the car needs to try and stop itself somehow. If the male athlete's going to have no weight on him, it's probably just going to be skin and bone, maybe some muscle, depending on what kind of athlete he is. But large man, yeah, maybe you'll have enough girth to stop the vehicle. Okay, so that's the end of that round of questions, and in this scenario, these set of questions, it says that the most saved character were a bunch of women. The most killed character is Grandma, because Grandma. Saving more lives matters a lot. Protecting passengers matters a lot in this scenario. Upholding the law matters quite a bit to me, apparently. Avoiding intervention matters a lot. And I have equal preference between male and female. But apparently it says I like humans more than pets. That's the scenarios you put for me. That's your fault. It says I prefer younger than older. I don't know what to say to that. And I prefer fit people to large people. Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Quit moral machine judging me. And apparently I prefer a higher social value preference than that of a criminal. Or it specifically just says lower. Oh, I don't really know what to say to that, but what do you got to say about it? You're judging me? Why don't you go and answer them? Go on to moralmachine.mit.edu and answer them yourself. See how you go being a moral superior. Try and be God and see how you like it. But in the meantime, my name is Liam, and I will see you guys next time.